Hi, um, my name is Miss Banana, and I've been thinking about making confessions, or not confessions, it sounds like I did a crime, but like video journals, because to be honest, my life is pretty crazy, and um, I've seen people on YouTube like do this where like they kind of tell like their story or what's going on in their life, and I've been told it has a very therapeutic effect, and it also helps because you can like go back and watch what you've told people. So I want to begin by saying that I live in South Texas, about 20-30 minutes away from the Mexican border, the US Mexican border. Mexican American. I'm 30 years old. I I work in a hospital. I am a clinician. And I'll talk about that more later. And I would like to just kind of get some things off my chest because I don't know. I've always kind of just wanted to like make videos and post them on YouTube. So I want to start by explaining that as of uh, 4 months ago, I cut off all ties with my mother. It's a very long story, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start like backwards to like my relationships like with my mother and my exes, because right now I'm having a really tough time kind of coping with life. I do suffer from depression, and I'll also talk more about that later. Um, Maybe these videos will help people like me that suffer from depression not feel so alone. Because I have so many thoughts in my head that I just kind of keep to myself. And sometimes it feels like nobody feels what I feel. Or maybe it just seems that way. Because people don't talk about it. But, I guess I'll start with what's been happening recently in my life. So, I just got out of a long distance relationship that I was dating a guy from Eastern Europe for about a year, a little more than a year, and we recently broke up because there was a lot of factors that came into play. Like I wasn't perfect. He also wasn't perfect. He was far from perfect, but it definitely seemed like it was perfect in the beginning. And like I know what like a lot of people say about long distance relationships, like they're not meant to last, or but yeah, it is very hard. It is very difficult to build trust from afar, especially when you just started, like, especially when the relationship starts, like, through the internet. It's one thing, like, say you meet somebody and one person or the other person, like, moves away um, for work or for travel or for personal reasons. That seems a little more doable than the way I did it. So what happened was that I I was playing this video game online where it's a multiplayer game, and you get to play with people all around the world. And me and my ex had this mutual friend. He met this guy through Reddit, and I met him through playing a game, a co-op game. And he invited me to join his friend's server, and I did. And we started playing together, me and his friend. And we didn't really talk much the first month I joined her server, but he eventually started messaging me, and we started like sharing memes with each other. We were both like meme lords, and we would talk more and more. And I want to say like um, about a month and a half later, is when he asked me to be his girlfriend. And I hesitated. I did because, one is long distance. He lives in Serbia, and I'm gonna change people's names to protect their privacy. So I'm just gonna call him Janos. um, I I started going out with Janos online, and it's not like I never like video called him or video chatted with him like uh like we would like play together like a match, and uh, two other people from his server would join, and we were all using our webcams, so we all saw what each other looked like in real life. So I found him attractive, he found me attractive, and he was 6 years younger than me. He was 23 at the time, and I was 29. He didn't really like have a lot of girlfriends. He only had dated one other girl for about 3 or 4 months, I think, is what he told me. And I really liked his accent. Not to sound stupid, but I know like us girls, like whenever we hear like an exotic accent, it's like kryptonite. Especially for me, he had like that vampire sounding accent, which to me was like, oh my god. Like where the W's he pronounces like V's and things like that, and it kind of drew me in. So we were talking for about I want to say 6 months. He did try to come see me first. He tried to get a tourist visa, but they denied him. Their reasoning was because he didn't have enough money. I think this was like in July. So it was like 3 months we were dating. He did try to like get a visa to come visit me, but they denied him. Since he lives in Serbia, it's not one of those like automatic countries that you can apply to come visit to the U.S. for. He had to get a tourist visa application first. So I think during the summer, like we were both like really hurt. We were both really disappointed because we wanted to meet, and he wanted to come visit me, and I really wanted to see him. So uh, sometime later during the summer, he invited me to attend his niece's baptism. His little niece was about to turn 1, and his family was going to baptize him. So he's the youngest. He has two elder sisters. One is in her 30s, and I think the other one is about to be in her 40s or already in her 40s. And they're all very close. He does have a mother and a father that I think they're in their early 60s. They're already getting to that age. And so, one of the things that I really found attractive to him about him is that he would talk to me all day, every day, like without skipping a beat. We would watch movies together through through Discord. We would video chat and voice call with each other all the time. So I felt like that intimacy. And when he invited me to attend like a family gathering, I felt like, oh my gosh, like he's serious about me. Like I don't think if he wasn't serious about me, he would want me like near his family or to meet his family. So I decided to accept his offer to go, or invitation. I accepted his invitation to go visit him in Serbia. And oh my god, it was an experience. So the thing about Serbia is that they're not very warm to Americans because of the wars in Yugoslavia back in the 90s, the early 90s, the Yugoslavic wars or whatever. Um, so Serbia is an ally to Russia, and since Russia and the U.S. are like mortal enemies, like they kind of don't like Americans in Serbia, and I found that out the hard way. So in September 2022, I booked a flight to go see my boyfriend. and it was about a 15-16 hour flight. So I was going from the Dallas, Texas airport. I don't live in Dallas, but I had to go to the Dallas, Texas airport. Um, from there, it was a 8-9 hour flight to Amsterdam in the Netherlands. From Amsterdam was I had to wait about an hour, 2 hours for the next flight. It was a 2 hour layover to go to from the Netherlands to Serbia. So, it was just like two connecting flights, which wasn't that bad. But it was, all in all, it was like a 15-16 hour flight. So by the time I got there, I was like super exhausted because um, I basically stayed up all night. It would have been the equivalent of me not sleeping until like the next day at like 11 in the morning. Like I would stay up all night. I didn't get a night's sleep, and I didn't really get to sleep until like 11 a.m. my time. So Serbia is 7 hours ahead of where I live, time zone wise. So I was very, very cranky by the time I landed. And unfortunately, they lost my luggage due to a miscommunication that the flight attendants told me. They said that my luggage was gonna be directly transported to my final destination, but it turns out that in between every flight, because I was an international flight, I had to pick up my luggage, get it checked again by security, and then take it with me so they can board it on the plane. Like I had to like get it rechecked every time. So any of y'all that get that book international flights, just FYI, like I mean, besides making sure you bring your passport, also make sure that um, you take your luggage, or you go claim your luggage between every flight, because it has to go through security again because you're an international flight. So I lost my luggage. I couldn't find it anywhere once I arrived in Serbia. So another not so funny but kind of funny story. I When the Homeland Security officer was checking my passport, he saw that I was from the US, and I noticed that other people that were, I guess, visiting Serbia were from India or the UK or like other places. I might have been one of two Americans there. Everybody else looked like they were from India or the Middle East or other places, but I definitely did not see another Mexican. But I think I might have seen like one American family that was there. I could be mistaken. They might have been from England. Because I just saw like a blue passport. I didn't really check. I wasn't like, where are you from? You look American. So the officer checks my passport and he sees I'm from the USA, and he kind of like scowls at it like it's like trash, and he just kind of like throws my passport back in my face. And oh my god, you guys, I can't tell you like how scared I was because I felt so unwelcomed. And that's when I realized that, I mean, this was like an older man. He was like at least middle aged, probably like a little older. So I think he was in that era, between the tensions between the countries. But even then, it's like, dude, like I didn't like, I'm not the one that told the country to go to war with your country. Like I'm not a fucking politician. So like, I don't even know you. It's like to hate somebody just because of where they're from, right? It's like, damn. But anyway, like I try not to let it get to me, but I will be honest, it did scare me because I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I get kidnapped? What if they detain me? What if like I get murdered just for being an American? All this like started like crossing my head. So after about an hour of trying to look for my luggage, I gave up. And I'm like, you know what? I brought money with me. I brought euros. I'll just buy, like, I had my purse with me, so I had like cash, I had euros. Um, so I'll just buy myself like new clothes at a local shopping mall or something, or a store. So my boyfriend's like calling me through like Facebook voice call, like anxious to see me, and like I'm telling him I'm freaking out because I can't find my luggage. So I go to him. It's the first time I'm meeting him like face to face, right? So we did this thing where, so like my gamer tag was Miss Banana, and his was like Potato or Mr. Potato, because potatoes play like a big role in Hungary. So he lives in Serbia, but his family originates from Hungary. So his parents speak Hungarian, and I learned a little bit of Hungarian, just so I don't come across as some uncultured American, um, to his family. I wanted to make a really good impression because I really cared about him. So we did this thing where he was gonna have like a potato plushie. No, I'm sorry. I was gonna have a potato plushie, and he was gonna have a banana plushie. So we know like it's us, as a way to identify one another. And I even still have it with me. Like this is the one that he like had at the airport waiting for me. Like he was holding this so I would know that it's him, since we never met before. So I see him at the end of of the the airport exit, right where the baggage claiming area ends. And I'm super nervous. Like it's super hot in the airport. It was September. It was hot. There was no AC. My hair was turning frizzy. I think I had like makeup on, but it might have been like smudged already. And I saw him, and I started smiling, and I was shaking the little potato plushie at him, and he saw me too, and he held up the banana, and we hugged. We were hugging for a long time, and we hugged each other very tightly, and we were so happy and excited to see each other. Like even like a guy next to us was kind of like smiling, laughing at us, because it probably looked like a very sweet moment between us. Uh, I was very nervous. I was super nervous to meet him. I was so self-conscious, and he tried to kiss me, but I was so shy. Uh, I was so like self-conscious. I just kind of like dodged his kiss, and he kind of like kissed me on the cheek, and he was super nervous too. Like you can tell, like he didn't know what to do, and um, and so he took my luggage, and I just told him like how tired I was. I told him I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Like I'm so sleepy. I just want to go to sleep. But he decided to take me immediately to go see his family. Like while I had like no sleep, so I was like beyond exhausted. I was so exhausted I started feeling like nauseous. But at that point, I had like a lot of adrenaline, so it kept me a little awake, a little longer. So I met his parents. His mom was really sweet. She fed me so many home cooked meals the whole week of traditional Hungarian food. Um, it was a little awkward when I met his parents because they didn't speak any English. I knew very basic Hungarian, so even though I would like say greetings, I was still like, I'm like, oh, what should I do? What should I say? And like, so every culture has like different ways of greeting each other, right? So Americans, you just shake hands. Sometimes you hug, depending on the occasion. So with Hungarians, and same as Mexicans, we kiss each other on the cheek as a greeting, but Mexicans kiss each other twice on the cheek. Hungarians do it 3 times. I didn't know that. I should have studied that more often. And I quizzed my boyfriend on this, right? But he didn't. I guess he never thinks about these things, so he just told me, "Oh yeah, we kiss on the cheek," but he didn't tell me like how often, like or how many times. So it's 3, like 1, 2, 3 is how they kiss. And my culture, Mexico, is just 1, 2. So yeah, cultural thing, right? So I know in his culture that the guest is supposed to bring like a gift to the host, but it got lost in my luggage. I had I had bought these like chocolate bombs for his family that were like all the rage at that time, where like you melt it in like hot milk or hot water, and like the chocolate bomb dissolves and it turns into like hot chocolate, and little marshmallows come out. So I had bought that for his family, but it was in my luggage. It got lost. So I felt so awkward showing up empty-handed. Um, he was very sweet. And this is what made me really fall in love with him even more. He planned out like this whole itinerary for me while I was staying there for a week. My mom was watching my little 4-year-old boy for me because, I mean, he does have autism. I could have taken him, but yeah, he would not have had a good time. An autistic 4-year-old on a 16-hour flight, that's a recipe for disaster. So, so for his benefit and my benefit, I didn't take my little boy with me, and also I wanted to like make sure it was safe, you know. So, you know, I was feeling really good. I was feeling really safe around my boyfriend. You know, we were cuddling a lot the first day. The first night we spent it at his parents' house, and the second day he rented out like this little small rental house. Um, it's on private property where like the owners have it like in their backyard, but it's like an enclosed area. That's kind of like difficult to explain, but it's like a little rental house for guests, like not a bed and breakfast because they didn't have food for us, but they did have like a little fruit bowl, and we stayed there for about 2 3 days. Out of I was staying there for about 6 7 days. So he also so he lives in the border between Hungary and Serbia. So Serbia is right here, and Hungary is like right above Serbia. And he took us to this thermal spa. Hungary is very famous for their natural thermal baths from the ground, and it was very amazing. Um, what was very interesting for me as an American was that the even the elderly people kind of dressed very sexy. Which is kind of like not common in the US. Like young people, you see young people like wearing bikinis, right? And occasionally maybe one guy wearing a Speedo, like, but most guys when I go to the beach, I notice they wear like shorts, like shorts for a bathing suit. Well, like 60, 70-year-old men were wearing Speedos. 60, 70-year-old like women were wearing like sexy, nice bikinis. And to me that was like, what? Because that's not common where I'm from. Maybe like in like the glamorous cities like LA or Hollywood, like maybe they dress that way, you know, the more glamorous cities where celebrities live, but not where I'm from, not in my small town. You don't even see mothers, like young mothers dressing that way. They're all like covered up, like, I don't know, more conservative. So I'm like, wow, so that's what they mean by like, like the European style that's more like out there. And like also like I would see like young girls are super super short like short shorts like their cheeks kind of hanging out. Um, so it was interesting. I'm like, oh, I could have dressed more sexy if I wanted. Oh, the lesson learned. Um, so it's about to be 25 minutes. So this is my little introductory video. Um, if you guys wanna subscribe to me so you can listen to like the part 2, part 3, part 4, because it's a lot, honestly. Um, I like this. I like, you know, I found myself like listening to people's like stories online, and if you guys find it interesting, maybe you can learn from my mistakes. If I help at least one person prevent the mistakes that I make, I think it would be worth it. So thank you guys for listening all the way. Hopefully, it'll post on YouTube. So yeah, subscribe if you want to hear more of my videos. This was my first video ever, and thank you for listening. Good night, or good morning, or good evening.